So welcome back to another rebuild here on NBA 2K25 Next Gen. In today's video, we are back with another episode of the Curry era rebuilds, and today it's the New York Knicks. This era of basketball in New York is one that I'm sure many Knicks fans want to forget. This team was in a very, very weird position because a lot of the guys on the team are a little bit older, but they also had a future potential face of the franchise in Kristaps Porzingis, which of course also did not work out too well. So this team won only 31 games this season. Of course, we're not very competitive. Landed the 8th overall pick in the 2017 draft and then went ahead and used it on Frank Ntilikina. So we're going to have a lot of big decisions to make today, especially in year one. We kind of pick a direction, whether we want to go all in or kind of pull back a little bit and reset. So I am excited for this one today. We got a lot of requests to do the Knicks, and you guys sure do know how to challenge me, that's for sure. As always, let me know any other rebuild ideas down below in the comment section. I've been loving the Curry era rebuilds, and I'm really excited to get into some of the teams that were maybe not so good at this point in time as well. So the Knicks certainly fall in that category. Anybody else from this year, as Sarah, you want to see, let me know down below. So excited for this one today. Let's get into it. Okay, so as we normally do, let's kick these Curry era rebuilds off by talking about the current roster that we are working with. As I mentioned in the intro, this team won only 31 games. It is not necessarily the most talented roster in the league. Now, something that I'm sure many of you are aware of is 2K does not have the rights to every single former player, especially those who are currently not in the NBA. So I looked at the roster on paper, and yeah, the only two, I guess, somewhat notable names that are missing is going to be Kyle O'Quinn and Courtney Lee. So, not superstars or anything like that, but certainly serviceable role players that I would have liked to have had, but we obviously do not. So let's get into it and discuss this New York Knicks roster. Derrick Rose, this was his one and only season he spent here in New York. It was a pretty decent one. I think averaged around 18 points a game. Unfortunately, he's 28 years old, obviously has a pretty long tenured injury history. Of course, we don't play with injuries on, but I'm just not really sure what to expect from Derrick Rose in today's video because he's an expiring contract at an 81 overall, and part of me says that I kind of want to let him play it out, see if he can do good enough to kind of keep him on this team. But another part of me says, just hit the reset button, just move on. You're probably not going to pay him anyways. So we will see. Certainly not going to give him up for nothing. You got a 27-year-old Brandon Jennings here, who at one point in time was an absolute bucket. I do not want people to forget about Brandon Jennings because he was pretty good back in his day. But at this point in his career, is just certainly a nice role player. Not really much past that. You can ignore Dirk Morris and his $42 million contract. Round of applause for 2K. Not only putting auto-generated players, which I guess is something you kind of have to do when you don't have the rights to everybody, but they then inflate their contracts when they are 65 overalls. I will be changing that because all of you said it was okay. Now to the shooting guard spot, which is certainly one of the weaker positions on this team. Justin Holiday and Sasha Vujacic are my only two options right now that are at least real people, and certainly not going to be any sort of quality option for the 3 years of this video. So, they're both on 1 year expiring, basically minimum contracts, and we're definitely going to look to upgrade that spot at some point. You can ignore Kelly Harris and Tim Robinson there. The small forward spot. Let's talk about Carmelo Anthony. This was his 7th and final season in New York. Of course, his tenure in New York was a very, very exciting one. Certainly one of the faces of Knicks basketball forever, but ultimately at 32 years old, I don't know if I'm going to go ahead and let him have 3 years in this rebuild. The overall is certainly at a good point, still at an 86, and he was an all-star this season. I'm not going to sit here and say he's washed, because that just wouldn't be the case. But I also got to think about this logistically, and if somebody wants to offer me a lot for Carmelo Anthony, I'll take it. If not, maybe we'll reassess in the offseason, as he does have 2 years remaining. I don't know who Mark Cook is, but that bullshit contract is certainly not going to be here. Now the power forward spot. Kristaps Porzingis, certainly once thought of after the rookie season, especially as maybe the face of New York basketball. He came in second in Rookie of the Year voting, heading into this second season where I believe he played upwards of about 70-ish games. He was going to be kind of just the guy for them moving forward and kind of kicking off their rebuild. Of course, gets injured. Dallas ends up trading for him. That went to shit as well, and obviously has landed on his feet now. But ultimately, I'm going to want to keep Porzingis, whether we're playing him at the 4 or the 5. I think his progression is going to go super well for me here today, and that's my plan, at least as of now. Ed Granger, Monty Davis. Who the fuck are you? And then finally, the center spot. Let's just discuss it a little bit. Billy Hernangomez is maybe, I guess, one of the young, bright spots on this team, as sad as that kind of is to say. But at a 77 overall and only 22 years of age, there's certainly something I can work with there. And let's talk about the despicable contract the New York Knicks handed out to Joakim Noah. About $72.5 million. I'm going to have to find a way to trade that at some point in time. And then Elmer Duncan. Is he 90? Is that somebody's grandfather? Who the hell names their kid Elmer? If there's any Elmers watching this video, I apologize. Let's get into some trades. We are kicking things off with an absolute bang. We are trading Carmelo Anthony to the Minnesota Timberwolves. Now, I want you to all stick with me and just hear out my thought process for a little bit. Carmelo Anthony is 32 years old, and although he is the face of the franchise and certainly maybe could have been here the entire time, I'm not going to risk the regression that is likely going to happen by the time we are ready to seriously compete in likely year 3. Would it have been fun to get Melo a ring? Certainly would have been, and you know, it's just not the option, not the path we're going to be taking here today. Now, Andrew Wiggins maybe never turned into the superstar that everybody thought he was going to be when Minnesota took him number 1 overall in 2014. But here he's 21 years old. He's an 84 overall. Still has a year of team control after this. And honestly, I've seen the way he develops in these simulations, and it's really, really good. So I'm not going to sit here and compare these two. I would still take Melo 10 times out of 10. But by the time we get to year 3, especially in terms of the price tag, I'm taking Wiggins pretty much every single time. So again, I didn't want to start this one out super hot, but I think it does make sense, just given the landscape of this team, for us to kind of step back a little bit, reset and rebuild, and definitely don't draft Frank Ntilikina, that's for sure. So first trade's in the books. We're actually going to be making a second trade with the Minnesota Timberwolves as well, and this one is also pretty big. Now, Derrick Rose, of course, got to Minnesota eventually later on in his career, but we're just going to expedite that process a little bit, move on from him and his $21 million salary that is expiring, and trade him for Ricky Rubio. Ultimately, they're similar overalls. He's 2 years younger, making less money, and of course has more years remaining on his deal. Hypothetically, in their prime, I'm taking Derrick Rose 10 times out of 10, but that is not the situation in the case we find ourselves here in today. So, you know what? I think we've done a pretty good job of getting a little younger, obviously a little cheaper, and I think we're definitely going to have a lot of assets come this offseason. We just acquired Jordan Hill in the Derrick Rose trade with Minnesota. We are immediately going to flip him over to the Philadelphia 76ers for 22-year-old Jeremy Grant, who of course turns into a quality NBA player, you know, eventually. I'm not saying it's going to happen throughout this rebuild, but what we can bank on is him having another year of team control at approximately $1 million. So that feels like an absolute steal, especially considering, I guess, the value, if you will, that we are giving up here. So welcome to the team, Jeremy Grant. Excited to have you. This trade here with Dallas is not my favorite trade in the world, but we're really just doing this for financial reasons. Now, Joakim Noah, of course, has 4 years and $72.5 million remaining on his deal, but he's 31. He's not really at a point in his career where he's going to be getting any better, and I'm certainly not going to sit here and tell you that Wesley Matthews is going to get any better. But Wesley Matthews has 2 years left remaining on his contract, and ultimately we have a need at the shooting guard spot right now. It is a pretty big one, and Wesley Matthews, I guess, kind of addresses that a little bit anyways. So welcome to the team. This trade is about as useless and as minimal as you could possibly make one, but yeah, whoever the hell Kelly Harris and Mark Cook, you're going to go to Milwaukee because Steve Novak is going to come over and be my backup power forward for a season because we have nobody else. And then our final move before we start simming year 1 is going to be signing 27-year-old Larry Sanders out of free agency. Not a name I have heard in a very long time. I feel like at one point might have been a little bit of a 2K legend, but he's 27, so still relatively, you know, I guess, I don't want to say young, but he is a playable kind of guy, and he's not going to regress like crazy. Not that there's really much more for him to go down, but we need a backup center, and he is going to be it. Welcome to the team. Let's set that 10-man rotation. We didn't quite strip this thing down all the way to the studs, but we got pretty damn close. Of course, trading away a franchise icon in Carmelo Anthony, trading away a really decent, I guess, point guard in Derrick Rose, and kind of just reassessing our situation as a whole. That's what we've ultimately done. We're not going to be good, and that was really never going to be the goal heading into year 1 here in New York. So here's how it's going to look. It's Ricky Rubio, Wesley Matthews, Andrew Wiggins, Kristaps Porzingis, and Billy Hernangomez. Bench unit is dreadful. I mean, there's no ifs, ands, or buts. It's not a good bench. Brandon Jennings, Justin Holiday, Larry Sanders, Jeremy Grant, and then Steve Novak. Yeah, it's not great. But at least they're all real players. I guess I can take that, you know, as a consolation prize, if you will. Jeff Hornacek was the coach of this team. I don't really think he's going to be, you know, long for New York, but he is here for now, and he is the guy leading the charge to hopefully a top 3 pick in the 2017 draft. I'll see you guys at the end of year 1. A 2-pack of ass. That's how I would describe this team after year 1. 18 wins. 31 in real life, 18 here in 2K, and honestly, I think I prefer the 18. Russell Westbrook, a 36.5-point double-double, 1.3 assists off of the triple-double. He's your MVP. Brickleberry Simmons, Rookie of the Year, Jared Sullinger, Andre Drummond, Nikola Jokic, and Pop at 66 and 16. Damn, okay. Warriors not taking the 1 seed here this year. Interesting. Let's talk about the standings a little bit. Safe bet we're not in the playoffs. Are we the worst team in the league? We are the worst in the East, and we are the worst in the league. So this is before, you know, the bottom 3 teams all have the same odds, the number 1 overall pick. So maybe a number 1 overall pick potentially in play for us. Now let's dive into some stats real quick, see how everything looked. Andrew Wiggins was pretty solid for us. I'd like that shooting percentage to be up a little bit. 3-point percentage, 35. It's not terrible. I'd like it just a little better. Porzingis was pretty good. Wesley Matthews, our 3rd leading scorer. Hernangomez. Wow, Brandon Jennings. I understand Ricky Rubio is not, you know, necessarily a score first point guard. You know, he's more of a diamond dish kind of guy, aka the 9 assists, but really interesting. Novak, Sanders, and then Grant. Rebounds per game going to be led by Hernan Gomez. Assists is going to be Rubio. So let's just get this dreadful, awful, pain in the ass season out of the way, and hopefully we can get to a point where we're at least competitive next season. Warriors win it all. Kevin Durant, Finals MVP. Stop me if you've seen that one before. They beat the Raptors. Okay, player retirements. I don't think we're going to have anybody here that's, at least important. Staff retirements. Jersey retirements. Historic changes. Good. And then Nike logo. Cool. All right, biggest moment of the video for us so far. No doubt about that one. 25% chance of the #1 overall pick. Of course, that is the highest in the league. Please don't drop me to 5. This game hates me sometimes. I need it to be a good day. 2, I can live with. I can live with 2. That is fine by me. Do you think this game likes the big markets? I mean, look at the top 3 right there. Nope, I will live with that, though. So it means we could either get Tatum or Donovan Mitchell is basically the moral of the story right now. Now, I'm not going to get into a conversation about those two right now. I think we probably all agree Tatum's a little better. Don't call that my Celtics bias. Maybe it is. But I am going to, have a much bigger need at the shooting guard spot than the small forward or power forward position. So Jeff Hornacek is... We're the Knicks. We have money, hypothetically anyways. I feel like we should go out and try to get a big-name coach. This feels like a good style for video. Feels like it's been a minute since I've got him. Got Doc Rivers sitting here. Of course, he is still milking that one championship to this day. Got Budenholzer sitting here. It's not bad. Quinn Snyder. Got some pretty decent names. All right, you know what? Goodbye, Jeff. It's just, it's too tough. It's not all your fault. Of course, I made this roster pretty bad intentionally. Got Don Nelson sitting here as well, but... I think Stauffer would be a good play for us. Can we get him? We can. All right, welcome to the team, Mike. #2 overall pick. I am certainly going to use it, so I'll figure something out if Donovan Mitchell goes #1. Kind of my pick right now. Awesome. I wanted Donovan Mitchell. God damn it, LA. All right, obviously I can get Jason Tatum, but I've gotten Tatum in the past a decent amount, so if there's any way I could possibly, maybe make a trade, thank you very much, Lakers. All right, I don't want Jordan Clarkson. I don't want to give up that. How about no. Let's see. I don't have a lot here in terms of what I can part with, but how about Larry Sanders? You want my first in 2021? And I'll actually get Clarkson, who may be a trade piece or maybe end up being a valuable rotation option. That's fine. 2021's years away. Will be decent enough, and I get my guy. Look, I think Tatum is better. I think most of us would probably agree with that. This is just a positional thing, and it's not like Donovan Mitchell is some bum. So I'm taking Mitchell. Well, trading for Mitchell. So I'm assuming the Lake... Okay. We also have a second-round pick. I'm not sure if any, real players will even be left here. It does not look like there are. So, you know what? I'm just going to trade the pick. Not that second-round, draft picks have a lot of value here, but I don't know. Better than a random player. All right, cool. So we wrap up the draft. Mitchell's going to be a 78 overall. Of course, the shooting guard spot is a position of need. Porzingis, Wiggins, and Grant all going to be brought back. Whoever the hell Jack Bullock is and Monty Davis go back to selling insurance. All right, no qualifying offers for us. We approach free agency where I don't think we have a lot of, or at least big names. I see Justin Holiday sitting here. He's kind of the only real player. I mean, Steph Curry would just be fantastic, but we're going to have to clear up some money if we want to make any move in that department right now. So how did Derrick Rose do? Just curious. It's not terrible. He's 23, almost 24% from 3. Goddamn, Derrick. Goddamn. All right, let's make some moves. We are moving off Wesley Matthews in his 1 year, roughly $18 million remaining contract. We are sending him to the Atlanta Hawks for 2 first-round picks. I'm not sure why they want to give up 2 firsts, but stupid is as stupid does. Which means we should, hypothetically anyways, have enough for a max salary spot. That is kind of my goal at this moment, and I have a couple different ways I want to approach this. Now, I am going to offer all 3 of the top 3 agents a contract. I am going to hope that at least one of them accepts. I know 18-win team, might be getting ahead of myself, but maybe the draw of New York, one of the biggest markets in the world, might be enough to maybe make one of them say yes. So I highly doubt that we're going to get any of them, but I am certainly going to try. And if at the end of the day I don't land a single one of them, we gave up Wesley Matthews, not LeBron James. So let's also offer CP3. Hopefully one of these guys accepts. I mean, I take any of them. Doesn't really matter. Oh my God. Steph Curry is willing to sign with us. That is absolutely mind-blowing. But, yep, totally cool with me. Steph Curry, welcome to New York. Oh my God. We're going to see if we can make a trade with another team here in New York. That, of course, being the Brooklyn Nets. Now, I know on paper this deal maybe not seem like an overpay, but our first-round pick being 3 stars might make some of you a little bit nervous. Now, let me just tell you this. After signing Steph Curry, this is not going to be a 3-star draft pick by the time we get to next year's lottery. I think maximizing on its value right now probably makes the most sense. And I understand Brook Lopez isn't some superstar, but honestly, his numbers are pretty good to the point where I think he would be a nice upgrade at the center position. So Ricky Rubio, whoever the fuck Elmer Duncan is in our unprotected first next year for Brook Lopez, nope, they're not taking it. All right, I don't really want to give up much more than that, so thank you very much. I told you second round picks have some value. Welcome to the team, Brook. All right, so the center spot is good. I need to find a backup 4. Good with Wiggins and Grant. Need to find a backup 1 or 2 because Clarkson could play either. So let's just see what we're working with here in free agency. Michael Carter-Williams, I think I've signed him once or twice before, but honestly might not be a bad option. I think I could live with that. Maybe. MCW? Potentially. Cool. And then the center spot is not... Oh, do we have Kelly Olynyk money? Wait, I need a power forward, don't I? I do, but I feel like I can move Kelly to the power forward spot because my power forward options are even worse. So, you know what? Kelly Olynyk can space the floor. I'll give him some money. If he goes down 1 or 2 overalls, if you move him to the 4, that's not the end of the world, at least in my opinion. So let's go ahead and move Clarkson to the 2. He's going to go up to a 79, which is definitely nice to see. And then we're going to move... Yeah, I mean, I think the 3-point shot alone probably says Olynyk, even though there's a little bit of a height difference. But let's just see. Hernangomez goes down 1. Olynyk actually stays relatively similar. All right, cool with me. In just one offseason, we have pretty much changed the entire trajectory, of this team. Now, I'm not saying we're going to be automatically winning it all, but we are in a much, much better spot than we were just, maybe 5-10 minutes ago. So I'll see you guys in the rotation. A brand new era of New York basketball is about to commence. Look at this team. From where we were just a season ago, it is mind-blowing that we have found ourselves in this position. Now, obviously, things look a little bit different if Steph Curry decides to maybe go back to Golden State or sign anywhere else and not with an 18-win team. But he did here in New York now, and he's going to be leading the charge to hopefully getting this team back to relevancy. Now, him and Donovan Mitchell obviously going to be pairing up in the backcourt. You got Wiggins at the 3, Tengus Pingus at the 4, and Brook Lopez at the 5. Bench unit has also seen some pretty significant improvements, I'd say. With Jordan Clarkson taking over 6-man responsibilities off the bench, still got Billy Hernangomez, signed Kelly Olynyk, Michael Carter-Williams, and still got Mr. Jeremy Grant. So, I'm excited. Of course, this is all under new head coach, Mr. Mike Stauffer, and I don't really think I could ask for, a better 180 in terms of a 1 year, year-over-year return, I guess, if you will. So I'm pumped. I am hoping things go well, and I'll see you guys at the end of year 2. Such a great way to wrap up year 2 for us here in New York. 57-25 is the record, and of course, pretty much anything would have been better than year 1, but such a significant jump. Feels like we're back, almost. LeBron James, now he is your MVP. Lonzo Ball, a member of the Wizards. It feels like he always somehow ends up in Orlando in these videos, so getting it done here with the Wizards. DeJounte Murray, 6th man of the year. Giannis wins Depoy. Moutier, most improved. And Ty Lue, your coach of the year. So we are not the 1 seed in the East. We are the 4 seed, actually. So maybe the East a little bit better than what we maybe initially anticipated. So it'll be us in Indiana in round 1, and then here's a look at the Western Conference. Now let's talk about some of the numbers real quick for this team. Steph Curry, not quite 30 points a game, but he has a lot of help here. Not to say he didn't have a lot of help in Golden State, but you get my point. Wiggins, number 2 option. You got Porzingis, Lopez, Clarkson, Donovan Mitchell. Not the greatest rookie season, but again, he's not necessarily in a position where he's going to be the first or even second or third option, so I can live with it. Hernangomez, Olynyk, MCW, and then Grant. Rebounds per game going to be Porzingis. Assists going to be Steph Curry. So we're a 4 seed. Us in the Pacers here. Let's take a look at Indiana's roster. Jeff Teague, Monte Ellis, Paul George, Thad Young, got Miles Turner, Marcin Gortat, Tyson Chandler. God, that's a lot of big men. Okay, let's do it. Round 1 against the Pacers. We obviously have the best player. Not a great start. Do win game 3 on the road and game 4. We win game 5 at home, and after losing the first 2 on our home floor, we win 4 straight to advance to the Eastern Conference semifinals. Now, LeBron and the Cavs. Obviously, LeBron just won an MVP. Still got Kyrie. Still got Kevin Love. Oh, boy. I'm nervous about this. I think that kind of goes without being said. So, yep, here goes nothing in round 2. Quick 2-0 deficit. Quick 3-0 deficit. And we get swept. We get swept out of the second round of the playoffs. And, not my favorite way. It's not a great series for Steph, just considering, his expectations for how good he is. Jordan Clarkson, no disrespect, cannot be your second leading scorer off the bench if you want any chance against LeBron. So Mitchell, Wiggins, not a great series for Porzingis or Lopez. So just tough. But we are certainly getting better. And I think we're close, as crazy as that might sound. So Kawhi and the Raptors, and the Spurs get it done, and they beat the Raptors, winning in 6 games. Okay, final offseason. We have a really, really good core now, at least. And I could not say that just a season ago at this point, so I'm pretty happy. That's good, and then that's fine. Okay, draft lottery time. Obviously, our draft pick's not going to be in the lottery. We are actually projected an Atlanta pick that I think I traded Wesley Matthews for. I'm not sure if there's any protections on it, but projected number 9 right now. Let's see. Oh my God, it jumped to 3, and I obviously was protected because I don't have it. That kind of sucks. Would have been nice to have a 3rd overall pick. Obviously, good with Mike Stauffer. Let's approach the 2018 NBA draft. I know I traded away my own first, but just want to confirm we have nothing else. So that's fine. Not going to trade into the draft. Team player options going to bring back Tingus Pingus. Obviously, want to qualify Andrew Wiggins. And yeah, another loaded free agency class. Unfortunately, we just don't really have the money to spend, and I'm not going to risk losing one of these guys. So going to pay Wiggins, going to pay Grant, and going to pay Lopez. And I think we might have 1 or 2 trades before we enter our final season. We are signing another Curry. This time it is going to be Seth Curry to a 2-year, roughly $19 million contract. He's going to be a nice little upgrade in the backup backcourt area for us, which means I'll just move Jordan Clarkson back to the point guard spot. I don't know if his overall is going to take a significant hit. It goes down 1. What does Curry do? Just curious. He actually goes up 1. Fuck it. We'll play Seth Curry at the backup point guard spot. So those two are going to be the backups, Seth and Steph. That's kind of funny. And then we're going to chill with Mitchell and Clarkson. And then what I'm going to do right now is look for an upgrade, I think either at the power forward or small forward spot. Look, there's nothing wrong with Jeremy Grant and Kelly Olynyk, but if I have to get a little bit better at one of those positions, I'm certainly going to take a look at a bare minimum. So I guess it can be Grant, him in a first, small forward and or power forward. I'd certainly, like some options here, and these aren't great. So it's roughly $7 million for small forward / power forward. Let's just take a quick glance and see what we are potentially working with here. Because I think a lot of the things that we're going to have going for us heading into the final season is we're going to have more progression out of Porzingis. We're going to have a lot more progression out of Donovan Mitchell. And I think Andrew Wiggins as well. So we're pretty good. Wow, Melo's still at 86. All right, I'm pretty comfortable. Wait, what the fuck was that? I'm still pretty happy with, what we got going on right now. Got like Dario Saric. Not bad. Could I maybe go after a Jaylen Brown? 4 stars in terms of the trade values, but I have some draft picks I can maybe give up. I mean, again, I'll probably have to give up all of the picks I have that I can at least offer, but I think it'd be worth it if, I can land JB. I cannot. All right, so Jaylen Brown's out of the question. How about Kyle Kuzma? 3.5-star rating. All right, is he listed as a small forward or power forward? He is listed as a power forward, but I feel like I could play him. Fuck it, why not? All right, let's see. Kyle Kuzma, potentially giving up 4 first-round picks for you. Is it even in the cards? Potentially. Thank you very much, Sacramento. And then I guess I will maybe consider a small forward upgrade if there's anything out there for Jeremy Grant in our final 2 first-round picks. Doug McDermott, not really, because Grant's still young enough. I expect his overall to go up a few. And if there's nothing really here that's that crazy, which there's not, I'll just live with it. All right, I'll see you guys at the start of the final regular season. We once again made some nice improvements to this team in the offseason. Now, the starting 5 is going to remain exactly the same. Steph Curry, Donovan Mitchell, who is now up to an 84 overall. Truly do love to see it. Andrew Wiggins, Kristaps Porzingis, and then Brook Lopez rounding out this starting 5. Bench unit definitely got better. Clarkson remains a 6-man. We added Kyle Kuzma to this group. Billy Hernangomez up to an 80. We added Seth Curry, and Jeremy Grant still here as well to 76. So, I think we're good. I think we got a lot of nice depth with this team. Of course, have the star power with this starting 5. So it's just about going and winning the damn thing at this point. So let's do it. I'll see you guys at the end of year 3. Not quite the best record in NBA history, but pretty damn close. 71-11 is how we wrap up year 3 here in New York, and hopefully that's good enough for the 1 seed here in the East. Now, Russell Westbrook, of course, is now, in real life, a Denver Nugget. Could you imagine, just hypothetically, prime Russ, like MVP Russ in Denver with Jokic, with Jamal Murray, MPJ, Aaron Gordon? Just imagine that hypothetically. That'd actually be kind of a fun video. Russ, triple-double, MVP. Luka Doncic, Rookie of the Year. Oklahoma City. Can you imagine Luka in Oklahoma City? Trae Young, 6th Man of the Year. Giannis wins Depoy. Couple questions here. Who the fuck is Sean Wembanyama? So he's tall as shit, just like the actual Wembanyama. But he is from Iowa State, which is, not quite France. So I don't know. Mike Stauffer, your coach of the year. All right, let's get into the playoffs. I am very much hoping this is going to be the year for us. We are 9 games ahead of Cleveland for the 1 seed here, and only 4 games ahead of Denver. So maybe a New York versus Denver matchup in the finals, 2 of Melo's old teams. Could be fun. Here are the numbers. Things are pretty spread out with this group, but again, there's a lot of scoring potential and just a lot of scoring talent with this team. Rebound's going to be KP. Assist's going to be Steph. All right, Wizards here, round 1. We got Lonzo, Bradley Beal, Otto Porter's an 85 overall. No disrespect to this team. I think we're much better. I don't think there's any denying that. So now moving on to the Celtics. Terry Rozier, Jaylen Brown, Jay Crowder, John Collins, Al Horford. Again, I think you got a lot of nice players here. I don't really think you can touch us with the 10-foot pole. So sweep again. Now us in the defending Eastern Conference champion, Toronto Raptors, who in the past have given me a little bit of trouble. They got a really nice backcourt, obviously, with Lowry and DeRozan. Some nice rotation pieces here. I'm not going to sim this series because I don't really know if it's going to be, okay, maybe it is. Okay, they do win one game, but we're in the finals. In the finals, and I guess I called it. Us in the Denver Nuggets here, who have, as I mentioned, MVP Russ, Jamal Murray, got Gallinari and, Fareed instead of MPJ and Aaron Gordon, but again, we're years in the past. And a 94 overall Jokic. So, not quite peak of his powers Jokic, but again, pretty damn close. So, I'm nervous. This is the first time I am actually starting to sweat a little bit. Split the first two at home, do win game 3 on the road and game 4. And as we head back to MSG, can we close them out in 5? That would be very, very nice. Because I don't want to go back to Denver because I don't really feel too confident on the road anyways. All right, kind of running away with it. 20-point lead. And, okay, not exactly what I was looking for. I'll see you in there. There's going to be a 12-point lead for us with just under 3 minutes to go here at MSG. Of course, on the verge of closing out the Denver Nuggets, who, don't technically have 2 MVPs on their team because, Jokic hadn't won one at this point in his career, but Russ has 2 in this video alone. So, yeah, he is doing a lot of the heavy lifting here, I'm assuming. That is a brick. Steph Curry going to grab his 4th rebound of the night. And it's not often I get to use Steph Curry in these rebuilds, so I'm just going to put up a 3 and not even really worry about it. Curry, 3. God damn it. All right, maybe I got to relax a little bit because it's not 100% over. It's pretty much well within, understandably probably out of reach, but I don't really think this one's going to happen unless I can just completely choke. Get out of my way. Unless I just completely choke this one. So, Tingus Pingus, they're going to run an off-ball screen for Emmanuel Mudiay. I feel like, no disrespect to Emmanuel Mudiay, who has maybe carved out a nice rotation career for himself there in Denver, but I just think at this point, we're probably, not working with shots, at least in my opinion anyways. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. The greatest shooter of all time going to be closing out Denver here on his home floor in MSG. I think it would have been fun to see Steph Curry play for the Knicks. I mean, at this point, he's probably going to be a lifelong Warrior. And of course, never really even got close to leaving through any point in his career. But really, we're doing fouls. I just think it would have been fun to see like Steph in a Knicks jersey at MSG. Like that fan base with Steph and like some of the shots that he hits. I think it would have been really fun. We are going to be putting back Brook Lopez into this game right now. We, of course, are pretty much done with this one, so we'll probably do one more offensive possession. I didn't even see, did they put Jokic back in, or was he already in the game? I'm assuming he was already in, but this game does a lot of dumb shit, so who the hell knows? All right, Steph, let's just... Oh, my God. Oh, my God. We're just working on Russell Westbrook here. A little step... No way. That would have been so fucking crazy if he hit that. All right, I'll let Gallo score, or Russ, you want to take a 3? Go for it. Just do something. Just please. I'm not even going to jump. I don't want to foul you. That's fine. That's totally fine. Still 10 points. It's still over, but I want to end on a good possession. I want to end on a made basket, hopefully by Steph. Hopefully. All right, they're just going to let him get right down, and now it's over. We go through a 16-game playoff series only with 2 losses. We kicked the shit out of Denver, and they still give Russell Westbrook Finals MVP. I mean, what kind of pity is this? Disgusting. You disgust me, 2K. Get it done in 5, and we end up winning a championship here in our final regular season. This one escalated quickly. Let me just tell you that. As soon as Steph signed with us, I was like, we're good. We're winning a championship here. I just got to put the right pieces around him. And, yeah, I mean, again, if there are a lot of Knicks fans watching this one, I apologize. I couldn't get it done with, Melo. Would have been super fun to see him get a championship, but I'm never going to complain once I won. I mean, we got it done. Who really cares? So, I enjoyed this one very much. We put together a really fun, really competitive team, and, I enjoyed it a lot. I really did. So let me know which team you want me to do next down below in the comment section. Of course, eventually we'll make our way through all 30 teams, but yeah, whichever one is most popular, we'll likely be next. So that's it for me. As always, thanks so much for watching. I love you guys. I'll catch you guys all in the next one.